Today we are looking at the R002 e-bike from TST. Whether you were looking for something to cruise around the city or maybe something that you could load up onto your RV and travel with, then stick around for a few minutes and see if this is a good option for you. The new R002 is a moped-style e-bike with 20-inch tires that are 4 inches wide and is an all-terrain type tire for light off-road use. It's powered by a removable 48-volt, 15-amp-hour battery that is about 720 watt-hours. It also includes an indicator light on the top of the battery to show the approximate state of charge. This will power the 750-watt motor with a peak of about 1500 watts. When it comes to stopping the bike, it does come equipped with hydraulic disc brakes and a 180mm rotor, which is larger than some of the other bikes on the market. It will come with a larger front LED light that turns on and off from the top control panel, along with the rear LED brake light that also functions as a left and right turn signal. This is activated by double tapping the up or down arrow, and then this will indicate the light turning left or right, and you just shut it off by double tapping again. The bike will also come with a Shimano 7-speed gear set and cassette, which is pretty standard for more entry-level e-bikes, and come with some metal pedals and a chain guard to help protect your clothes and also to protect the sprocket and the chain. The seating on this bike is also lower, which is nice and long and also has nice stitching. And when it comes to the handlebars, these are more of a riser type and comes with some basic grips. The bike also has a 4-button control panel and a nice display that is mainly white but does have a blue battery indicator light. This bike will come with a thumb control throttle, which I actually moved from the left to the right side. This is more in style with the type of motorcycles that I like to ride and also other e-bikes, which more of them are on the right side. The bike will also come with suspension with a front fork spring and also a rear monoshock. Now, my first impressions on the bike while I was riding this is that it does have decent low-end torque, which with the smaller wheels and tires does help, but also handling is nimble, mainly because of its smaller size. But this bike is great for the beginner riders or those looking into just cruising around on a simple e-bike that is not too crazy fast or has abrupt acceleration. Now, I did unlock this bike as it is a Class 2 bike that's again 750 watts and goes about 20 miles per hour. But with it unlocked, which I'll show you later in the video, you can then reach a max speed of 28 miles per hour. Now, when it does come to speed, I was able to hit 25 miles per hour pretty easy most any time on flat roads, and me being about 210-pound load since I did have some gear with me. But it seemed 26 and 27 miles per hour did seem pretty achievable if I gave it a long enough amount of time. But again, that will depend on the conditions and also rider weight, which I also had winds to deal with and more. Now, when it does come to the speed accuracy, I found that the speedometer was about 3/4 of a mile off from the GPS app that I was using, which this is pretty normal for most e-bikes, which I have found some to be up to 2 miles per hour off. Now, when it comes to hills, the bike does fine if you have a run-up. 8 to 10 miles per hour is what I would see, so you're not going to win any races, but it's still managed fine for the hilly areas that I ride. But the bike also did well running at speeds and running through a chicane of turns. I didn't feel like the bike wanted to oversteer or understeer, it just kind of did what it needed to do. Now, this is based on rider experience, so that will vary depending on rider. When it comes to cruising the bike, it's small and it easily does it well. Now, if you're just cruising around campgrounds, this is something that someone could definitely benefit from because the bike only weighs about 75 pounds. It will easily lift onto an RV bike rack and it won't overload many of the RV hitches, so it's a decent choice if you're wanting something to add to your RV travels. As far as comfort, I did find the seat was comfortable in the beginning, but towards the end of my ride, I could say I was probably ready for a break. Now, if just cruising around on a shorter ride, this is great. But I'm 5'11", and I feel anyone taller than me may want to look into another model since you are a little bit snug in the cockpit. Now, I did do a 22-mile ride, which the battery still had 2 bars left, so it seemed it would hit the miles stated for the average miles per charge, which according to the manual is about 25 miles. Now that's based off of rider weight and also conditions, so just something to keep in mind. Now during my ride, this was a mix of 50% pedaling and 50% throttle with the max pedal assist. Now when it does come to the charger, there is a charger included that is 3 amps, but it will only charge at about 150 watts every hour, which I like to use small power stations and solar to charge my bikes, so eventually I won't have to pay for power to charge my e-bikes. But at 150 watts, that's a charge time of about 5 hours from a fully discharged battery. Okay, so let's talk about some pros and some cons. Now, the cons first really are going to be the entry price of this bike. It came out at $899, but they've since dropped it, which that was a little bit high compared to other bikes out there. Now, they've also offered some discounts, which you can check the links below for current pricing because it fluctuates all the time. But if you can pick this up for under the $800 mark, that's a much better buy. Now, the number 2 con really is going to be the seat. It's not bad, especially when you first get on it, but when you do those longer rides, that's when it does feel like you are going to want some pads, or you're just going to want to shorten the ride, because after about 22 miles, well, I was definitely again ready for a break. Now the third con really is going to be again the suspension. As you can see, I'm pressing down on this. It really just doesn't work that good. Now the front suspension does do well, and of course when I was taking this on some trails, it actually didn't do bad. I didn't have the air pressure all the way up. That's another thing that can help you, is running the air pressure around 16 to 17 psi versus the full 20. But even on regular trails or gravel roads, I found that the suspension did help a little bit, but it's not going to be like some of the other bikes out there that I've test rode where the suspension is active and it actually does a really good job. This one, the front springs are just a little bit too stiff, and of course this rear shock doesn't really seem like it does much, so the spring they have on here definitely needs to be softer. Now the other con again is going to be if you're a taller rider. Again, I'm 5'11", and if you're anything taller than that, I suggest not getting it because the cockpit is a little bit tight. Now one other con I did have was the brakes. Actually, the right hand brake, which was the rear, was starting to fade as I was going down a hill. It ended up being to where it wasn't bled properly, which I've actually fixed it by adding a little bit more fluid and bleeding the air out of it. It's a simple procedure, but it was something that was probably missed on assembly, but now works fine, and the left brake worked absolutely great. Now that's it for pretty much the cons. Let's go to the pros. Now one of the pros again is going to be how light this bike is. It's lighter than most. It's 75 pounds, so it still has some weight, but at least it's lighter and smaller than some of the other bikes. So again, if you're wanting to maybe use this for an RV, it's actually not hard to pick it up, lift it onto your RV bike rack, and if the battery was removed, that's about another 8 or 9 pounds right there. So it makes it a good choice if you're looking for something to take with your RV to cruise around those campgrounds and more, so this is a good option for that. Now another pro, or maybe a con, as it lands right in the middle, is the range. The range isn't anything you're going to get too far on, but again, for 15 amp hour battery and my rider weight and the conditions, it still made it to about the 25 miles that it says in the manual. So not a pro, not a con, just kind of lands around average. Now again, it's going to be size, which is another pro on this. It's a lot easier to store this small bike, and again, if you're wanting to put it into an apartment or somewhere smaller, this isn't as big as nearly some of the other e-bikes out there. So now let's talk about unlocking the bike, which I'll show you how to do that. Okay, when it comes to unlocking the e-bike, there is an app that you can use, but for some of you who don't want to use the app and upload your information, and that's something that I don't particularly like to do, but there is a way to do it just by doing this. So what you want to do is we're going to pull in on the brake lever. We are then going to press the plus, the minus, and the power button, all three at the same time, until it turns on the bike. You'll see the screen light up here in just a second, which there it goes. Now hopefully the frame rate isn't making this look bad, but you're looking for this top screen up here, the little line. We're waiting for that to flash. Now we're going to press and hold positive and negative button again. This will bring you to the P1, which now we're going to scroll with the headlight button to P3. So now you see this says number 1. We want this to be at 1, not 0. So you can see it's at 1 now, and then that would be at 0. But if you put it at 1, that's what unlocks your bike. And now you are all done. You can just sit there and wait for it to reset, and you are simply finished. Go ahead and turn it off, and then you can turn it back on, and now your bike is ready to go. It's unlocked, and make sure you do that at your own risk, because that is totally up to you. So what do you guys think about the TST Ebike? You can check for discounts with the links down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in another one.